Make way for Doug Gottlieb, Fox Sports College basketball analyst, and you can hear him on the Doug Gottlieb Show on Fox Sports Radio. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning. You know, it's interesting. I feel like Iggy is trying to do the opposite for Michigan that Zion's doing for Duke. Like Izzy Brosdake, Michigan is like the most likable program with John Beeline. They just find a way they lose guys to the pros, doesn't matter, and yet they're right back in the Big Ten championship game. Yet he hits like one shot and he throws up the money. Every time he hits a shot, he throws up the money sign like he's Johnny Manziel. He's like trying to make Michigan unlikable. Meanwhile, Zion Williamson, I love him. I want him to be my son. I love him, and it makes me love Duke. It is impossible to not like. I don't know anyone who doesn't thoroughly enjoy the Zion Williamson experience.
But we want to have comps with Zion Williamson. And I always, I think we look at his body and then we go, okay, he's Charles Barkley or Larry Johnson. But his game is unique. It's different than those players. So when it comes to Zion, why do we keep looking for, well, he reminds me of?
Because that's what we do. That's what scouts do, because somebody has to have done it before, right? In order to think. And I'll just tell you, like I thought Charles was great on your show, but remember, Charles, if he came out now, would be a 4-5, be a power forward that would play small ball center, and he'd be even better. And think about Draymond Green, who was fat in college, right, and played the 4 in college. Everybody thought, well, he's going to have to be a small forward, and then Golden State. He lost weight, and Golden State found a great role for him. So Zion is a combination of Rodney Rogers. He's got a little bit of LeBron. He's got a little bit of LeBron in terms of just an incredible downhill athlete. Obviously Barkley, but then the position he's going to play is going to be Draymond Green's position. Only he's far more athletic.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's shown the ability to be a really good passer, which is the thing Draymond Green does best. And, Draymond Green can't make a shot now. I mean, think about Zion Williamson in that role. And I heard you talking earlier. You're completely right. The thing that you love about Zion is he doesn't have to have the ball or plays run for him in order to take over a game, whereas R.J. Barrett, he can't do it any other way. And I'm not sure he's actually good enough at the highest level of the NBA to do it that way. So he's a power forward / small ball center, which is what everybody's looking for in the NBA. And then, you compare kind of those body types of the Rodney Rogers, there's a little Larry Johnson. I saw him in that Louisville game, and he's got great feet and feel in the low post, which so few guys have as well.
All right, let's look at some of these matchups here. Is there any faux outrage by you with what?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, you know me. I'm bitter Betty. I can usually find a bunch of stuff. Like, do I think Clemson and NC State are probably better than Belmont and Temple? Like, yeah, but you know what? Fran Dumpy's like one of the world's greatest guys, Mr. Philadelphia. It's probably his last game. And, like, why not throw a bone to Belmont and say that the net actually matters? No, this year, I swear, and part of it is we got helped out because we had some bid steals. We had the Atlantic 10. VCU lose and lost their best player to injury. We don't know if he'll play. We had a couple other, the Mountain West, also gave us, kind of a crazy screwy ending. And so we had a couple of bid steals, which ended up what was a super weak bubble became a decent bubble. Indiana's good enough to be there. You can't lose 12 out of 13 games playing the NCAA tournament. NC State, they didn't beat any of the good teams in the ACC, and Clemson just had a disappointing year after a surprising year last year. So I'm not really bummed for all three of those.
How many teams have what you think is a legitimate chance to win it all?
You nailed it. You're kind of on fire today, Dan. It's like 6, right?
Yeah.
And then you throw in it's like spades. Like I got 5 with a possible or 6. I mean, Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, Gonzaga, Tennessee. Virginia. Although is there ever going to be a more watched 1-16 game than Virginia against Gardner Webb? And by the way, Gardner Webb is not bad and probably shouldn't be a 16 seed. Like the low seeds are kind of screwy in some of these things. But I would say, that's kind of your general working list. I called the Michigan State game on radio, and I do think that Michigan State got a little screwed, not in being the 2 seed, where you put them in Duke's bracket, but more you play them on a Thursday. You play them on a Thursday after playing that incredible war. I would make sure you play them on a Friday. But I don't think that Michigan State or Michigan have the horses to win it all. But it wouldn't stun me if somehow one of those teams found a way to get in there. And then there's I actually think Nevada is really good. And then I think Buffalo was underseeded. I think they're really good. I mean, you look for Cinderellas. But I think you nailed it. Probably about 6 teams that can win it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Cinderella team, and then you start to think it's plural. There's a lot of Cinderella teams, it feels like. And, somebody's getting in. It always feels like somebody sneaks into the Elite Eight. That team is going to be who?
Wouldn't stun me if it's Buffalo.
Yeah, me neither.
It just would not stun me. Now, Buffalo, the two teams that they may play, like St. John's, is super, super talented with Shamari Pons. And then Arizona State, Bobby Hurley's club, they're going to play St. John's. They can beat anybody. I mean, they're just kind of erratic. They have a freshman, Lou Dort, who's a Canadian kid he's built like a linebacker. He can throw in a couple of threes, and they have freak athletes on those teams. So I think Buffalo's in for a hellacious first game. But if they can get past it, look, Buffalo is real, absolutely real. The thing that screwed this whole thing up is Duke has had a bunch of injuries. And I don't know what Syracuse's seed is or if they get in if they don't beat Duke. And Duke was down 2 players and they play them. Carolina gets a 1 seed because they beat Duke, but Duke didn't have Zion either time. It's really interesting on the Duke injuries. And then you have Duke, who we all think has a great shot to win it, but they can't shoot. I mean, we have an entire – right? Like, who wins a national championship? 1 with freshmen and 2 freshmen that cannot shoot. It's going to be – everybody has that fundamental flaw. And I don't feel icky at all. I picked Kentucky to win the whole thing.
I was all in on Kentucky a couple of weeks ago, and then all of a sudden I went, oh, man, come on. It didn't feel like they were elevating their game. Although I do give credit to John Calipari, as an interior designer, when he was on yesterday, when they were interviewing him and he had all of his former players' jerseys behind him, I thought it was brilliant. But man, I was all in on Kentucky a couple of weeks ago. Not as much now.
That was a baller move. Look, they have like one of it's like they got one of everything. You got like Tyler Hero, who's like their Rex Chapman electric scorer. And then you got Keldon Johnson, he's kind of an elegant scorer. And then this kid Ashton Higgins, their point guard, is a lockdown defender. Can't shoot, but and then you have Reed Travis and PJ Washington inside. One can defend the rim, the other one's a scorer. I mean, look, I think they beat Tennessee if Reed Travis doesn't foul out. And look, I got my questions about them, and I would love to see a rematch of Duke. Duke ran them off the floor to start the year, but it was so long ago and they kind of figured it out. So, yeah, but look, you nailed it. You got 6 teams, and there'll be a little bit of craziness. But I generally think we know who the cream is, and I'd be stunned if we didn't have. And I mean, hell, Gonzaga. I know they lost to Carolina and lost to Tennessee, but they beat Duke. They're going to be right there. The questions with them and Tennessee with their backcourt, but they're loaded and they played for a national championship before. So I think we'll have a good tournament, but I'm not sure we're going to have the number of Sweet 16 or Elite 8 surprises we've had in years in the past.
Good to talk to you, Doug. Thanks, as always. We appreciate your time.
What do I have to do to get in the Continental Tire commercials? What do I have to do? Because you guys are going to be on during the tournament more than anybody else. What do I have to do?
Can you make 10 consecutive free throws?
I don't know. I think I can.
Okay. Are you going to be
in the new man? Does the new man cave have the low ceiling?
No. Are you going to be at the Final Four?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have a basketball hoop there.
I got to make 10 in a row.
10 in a row.
All right, I'm going to work. I'm going to go drive to the gym right now, and I'm getting to work. But with me, it's all mental.
I know.
You know that. And couldn't you just let me play? Couldn't you just let me play like Seton or one of those guys in one-on-one or something, left-handed? Like, could you give me something I could actually do?
I would consider. How about you against Dan Dockich?
Well, listen, Dan shut down Jordan.
Well,
he and Dean Smith are the only ones to shut down Jordan.
I know. Yeah. Maybe Eddie Jordan, but not Michael Jordan. But yeah, you're right. Dockage shies away a little bit from that. Hey, you shut down Michael Jordan. Maybe not. But are you saying that you're afraid of Dan Dockage?
I'm not afraid of Dan Dockage, but he's an old man.
Wow.
I love Double D's an old man. He wouldn't even argue with that. Like he's an old dude. Like I bet the last time he steps on a basketball court, but it's always with dress shoes on. Like I still play basketball. Like it's okay. I just don't want to abuse my elders. I respect Dan Dockage a great deal.
This is just a shooting contest, Doug.
Oh, in a shooting contest.
Is that?
Yeah, I can outshoot Dan in the shooting contest. Sure.
Okay. All right. Well. Maybe we can make that.
I can't outshoot his son, but I can outshoot Dan.
Maybe we can make that happen in Minneapolis.
All right, good. And if I win, I get in the next Continental Tire hats because you guys are going to be on more than Parkwood.
I'll work on that.
All right, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Doug. That's Doug Gottlieb. Doug Gottlieb from Fox Sports.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.